The notification slid across my screen at 4:17 p.m., right between a client's appointment and a fresh round of bleach. My older sister Bianca was live on Instagram. 23,000 viewers. Climbing. I tapped without thinking. There she was, ring lights blazing, mascara running on cue, voice trembling like an audition tape. My own sister, my own blood, sitting up in Buckhead while we suffer. The salon went still. Tasha, my senior stylist, set down her round brush. The client in my chair turned her face toward the screen. My junior Kenya froze mid-sweep, broom tilted in her hand. Irene, Bianca sobbed, if you got one drop of conscience left, come home. Mama is sick. Dominic is broken. We are nothing without you. Mama was not sick. I had seen her that morning. Dominic had finished a bottle of Hennessy at our cousin's wedding 3 weeks back. The comments rolled in like floodwater. Wickedness. Pride. She forgot where she came from. Hairstylist money is family money. God will judge her selfish heart. Then one comment caught me. From Mrs. Whitfield, a client of 9 years. Bianca, ask your brother about the loan papers. I stared at that line until the letters blurred. My fingers went cold. Loan papers? What loan papers? I told my client I needed 5 minutes, walked to my office, locked the door, sat behind my desk and stared at the framed photo of myself at 21, holding my first wholesale receipt for bundles of hair, grinning like I had won a small lottery. My name is Irene Boyd. I'm a 33 years old successful hairstylist, the third child of 6. Before I tell you what happened next, please tap that like button and hit subscribe, and drop your city and local time in the comments below. I love seeing where in the world y'all are tuning in from tonight. Now lean in, because this story moves quickly. We grew up in a 2-bedroom rental in South Decatur that held 8 people. My father ran a small body shop off Memorial Drive. He carried 6 children on shoulders that were already breaking. He was not rich. He was tired and decent. He passed when I was 23. By then I had a folding chair, 1 hot comb, and a back porch I had turned into a salon. I braided neighbors' hair for $40 a head. I saved every penny. I read every magazine. I watched every YouTube tutorial. I chased one impossible dream, to make black hair look like sculpture. 10 years later, that back porch had become a glass front studio in Buckhead, and my sister was calling me a monster live on the internet. I had funded 5 businesses for Dominic and Bianca. 5. Every single one buried in under 7 months. For Dominic, the firstborn, a soul food truck. He had read the books, watched the documentaries, took a course at the technical college. I gave him $55,000. 5 months later, he told me the truck was stolen out of a parking lot in Forest Park. No police report ever showed up. 6 weeks after that funeral, he walked back into my salon laughing. Sis, the truck thing wasn't my lane, but this is destiny. Auto detailing studio, $80,000. Closed in 4 months. He told me his business partner ran off with the deposits. There was no business partner. Then a sneaker resale shop in Atlantic Station, $95,000. Closed in 6 months. He said the landlord raised his rent. The landlord, when I called, said Dominic had stopped opening the doors. For Bianca, first a boutique on Howell Mill Road. $85,000. 11 gorgeous reels. Closed in 5 months. She blamed her landlord too. Same lie, different sibling. Then a delivery service the two of them partnered on. $160,000. For vans, drivers, a small warehouse. 6 months, and it was dust. A driver ran off with a van. No report. $475,000 gone, and every single time they came back like nothing had happened. That was the part that broke something in me, looking back. It wasn't even the money. It was the posture of the return. Each time a business collapsed, and they always collapsed inside 7 months, like clockwork. There was no shame visit. No quiet phone call. No, I'm sorry I lost your money, sis. There was a 2-week silence, sometimes 3. And then they would walk back into my salon as if walking through a door they owned. Dominic would stride past the receptionist, slap his cologne-soaked hand on my desk, and announce his next vision with the confidence of a man who had never failed at anything. Sis, the last thing wasn't for me. This is the one. And he would mean it. His eyes would shine like a preacher's. Bianca would come in with her lashes fluttering, sliding a printed pitch deck across my counter as if she had been to business school. I know the boutique didn't work, but the boutique was learning. This new concept is post-learning. And every single time, they would tell me I had to invest fast before the opportunity closed. I told myself I was being a good sister. I told myself Daddy would have wanted me to keep the family standing. I did not yet understand that I was the standing they were leaning on so they could rob the house. 2 weeks before the live stream, Dominic walked in with venture number 6. He smelled of cologne and confidence. He slid into the leather chair across from my desk and grinned like the first 5 had never happened. "My sis," he said, "I got something big." I did not look up from my appointment book. "How big?" "Salon supply distribution. I got the Connect, Korean brands, Brazilian bundles, the real stuff. We can supply every salon in Metro Atlanta." I finally looked at him. "How much?" He smiled the smile he had used since we were children. $200K just to start. We'll triple it in a year." I closed my book. Slowly. "Dominic, you and Bianca have lost $475,000 of my money in 5 businesses. None of them lasted 7 months. That was bad luck." 5 times in a row? His smile fell. "So you keeping a record now? Your own brother?" "I'm keeping my business alive." He stood. He paced. He told me blood was thicker than water. He told me I had become proud. He told me Daddy would weep if he saw the woman I had become. He used every word he had been sharpening for years. I said one word. "No." His face changed, not with sadness, with something colder. He walked out without another word, slamming the glass door so hard the receptionist flinched. That night, Bianca posted her first cryptic Instagram story. Some folks forget where they came from. The phone calls began the next morning. Aunt Beverly first, my mother's older sister, voice dripping with concern that wasn't concern. "Irene, what's this I'm hearing? You refuse to help your brother?" Then Uncle Reggie. Then the pastor's wife. Then a cousin I had not spoken to in 4 years. Each one armed with the same script. Each one asking me to be reasonable. Each one reminding me that money was not worth a family. By evening, my mother called. "Irene." Her voice was tight. "Why are you doing this to your brother?" "Mama, he and Bianca have spent almost $500,000. He is your blood. That doesn't make he's good with money." She was quiet for a long time. Then she said the sentence that cut deepest. "If your father were here, you would not behave this way." The line went dead. I sat on my balcony for 2 hours, staring at the Atlanta skyline blinking like a city that did not care. Then my phone rang again, unknown number. "Hello, am I speaking with Miss Irene Boyd?" "Yes, this is Daniel Bellamy from Atlantic Heritage Bank. We have been trying to reach you regarding your loan account. The default has now reached $340,000. Ma'am, the account is in serious arrears." I had never taken a loan in my life. I did not sleep that night. By 9 a.m., I was at Atlantic Heritage Bank's downtown branch on Peachtree, dressed like I belonged in their boardroom. Black blazer, pearl studs, silence sharp enough to cut glass. Mr. Bellamy was a man in his 40s with eyes that flickered too often. He pulled out a folder and slid it across the desk. I opened it. The signature on the loan agreement was mine. Or it looked like mine. The same loop on the I, the same downstroke, even the small comma I always forget after my surname. The address listed wasn't my home. It was a property in East Point. "This is not my signature," I said. Mr. Bellamy's face did not change. "Ma'am, the documents were notarized. The lawyer's stamp is here. The witnesses are here." He pointed. "Your brother, Dominic Boyd, signed as guarantor. Your sister, Bianca Boyd Carter, signed as witness." The room tilted. "You're telling me my own brother and sister sat in this bank with somebody pretending to be me?" "Ma'am, that's what the documents show." I closed my eyes, breathed, opened them. "What was the loan for?" Bellamy hesitated. Then he flipped the page. "It was for the purchase of a salon supply distribution business, registered in your name 18 months ago. A business I had never heard of. The same name Dominic had pitched to me 2 weeks before. I drove to Dominic's apartment in Lithonia that afternoon. I did not call ahead. His girlfriend let me in, eyes nervous. Dominic was on the sofa in shorts, watching a Hawks game, beer in hand at 2 p.m. "Sis!" he grinned, half rising. What a surprise. I did not sit. "Tell me about Bright Edge hair distribution." His face flickered. "Just once." Then the grin returned. "What about it? It's registered in my name. I have never heard of it." He laughed, loudly. "Irene, you feeling all right? Have you eaten today?" "Sometimes when blood sugar drops." There is a $340,000 loan against my name. Your name is on the guarantor line. Bianca witnessed it. He set the beer down very carefully. He stood up. He walked toward me with his arms wide, the way our father used to. Sis, who's been filling your head with this? Is it Tasha? That girl has always been jealous of you. Or that woman, Mrs. Whitfield? She's been... I went to the bank, Dominic. I saw the documents. Forgeries. The bank is corrupt. We can fight this together. He reached for me, to embrace me, to smother me into silence. I stepped back. If you touch me, brother, I will know everything I need to know. His arms dropped. I drove back to Buckhead with my hands shaking on the steering wheel. By the time I reached the salon, my phone was bursting. Tasha, my senior stylist, had sent 8 messages. Boss, please call. The bank froze the salon account. Suppliers are calling. Kenya is crying. I parked badly, half on the curb. Walked in. Tasha met me at the door. They put a flag on the corporate account. They're saying there's a fraud investigation linked to your name. Boss, we cannot pay staff this Friday. 23 employees. Rent due in 8 days. 2 clients walking in for appointments at that very moment. I held my face very still. Send the clients away politely. Reschedule for next week. Tell them I am traveling for a family emergency. Tasha's eyes filled. She did not cry. Tasha had survived too many things to cry easily. That evening, I checked Instagram for the first time in 12 hours. Bianca had posted a new reel. She was at a rooftop restaurant holding a glass of champagne. The caption read, "When God fights your battles, sis, karma is undefeated." Underneath, a photo of my salon's main logo, captioned, "Pride goes before destruction." She knew. Somehow she knew about the freeze, within hours, which meant someone at the bank had told her. Or someone closer to me had. I sat alone in my apartment that night, with the lights off and a glass of water I never drank. My phone buzzed at 11:47 p.m. Amara. She was the youngest, the 6th child, 24 years old. The one everyone forgot at family gatherings. The one Dominic called little girl and Bianca called slow behind her back. She worked as a junior staff at a mid-size accounting firm in Midtown. The text was short. Sis, can we meet? Please. Not at home. Not at Mama's. Somewhere quiet. I stared at the words. My youngest sister was reaching out at midnight on a Tuesday, asking me to meet in secret. I typed, tomorrow. Coffee on Ponce, 9 a.m. She replied immediately, I'll be there before you. I put the phone face down on the table. Picked it back up. Looked again. 3 dots appeared. Then disappeared. Then appeared. Finally, a second message arrived. Sis, please don't tell anyone we're meeting. Not Mama. Not anyone. Promise me. My chest tightened. Amara was the gentle one, the shy one, the one who flinched when voices were raised. For her to send a message like that meant she was scared. I typed back, I promise. I did not sleep again that night. I had 2 sisters. Only one of them seemed to be on my side. Amara was already seated when I walked into Coffee on Ponce at 8:48 a.m. She had ordered nothing. Her hands were folded so tightly her knuckles had gone pale. When she saw me, she did not stand. She did not smile. Her eyes scanned the room behind me before they settled on my face. I sat. Talk to me. She shoved a brown envelope across the table, as if eager to be rid of it. Plain. Unmarked. I shouldn't have these, she whispered. I made copies at work last week. If anyone finds out, I will lose my job. I opened the envelope. Inside were Secretary of State filings, LLC registration records. 5 separate businesses, all registered in the name Irene Boyd, all with my social security number attached, all with addresses I had never lived at. Bright Edge Hair Distribution, Boyd Logistics LLC, Peachtree Bay Imports, Irene Holdings Properties, 3 Sister Agro Allied, loans against 4 of them, total exposure $1.4 million. I had never in my life held that much money in any account. How long? I asked. My voice did not sound like mine. 2 years, Amara said. Maybe more. I started seeing your name in our system 6 months ago. I thought it was a different Irene Boyd. Then last week I saw Dominic's signature on a guarantor form. I closed the envelope. Amara, who else knows? Just me, she whispered. 3 days later, I sat in a small office above a pharmacy in Virginia Highland, across from a woman named Mrs. Wolfgang. Her firm had no signage. Her clients found her by referral. She had spent 18 years tracing money through Southern banks and could read a forged signature the way other people read traffic lights. She turned the documents in her hands slowly. This is professional work, she said finally. The signatures are good. Not perfect, but good enough to pass casual inspection. Whoever did this had access to your real signature, many samples of it. I thought of the dozens of cards I had signed at family events. Birthday cards, wedding cards, Christmas cards, all of them stored somewhere in my mother's house. Can you trace it? She nodded slowly. Yes. But this is not just family drama, ma'am. This is fraud. Felony fraud. And the loans are the surface. There are tax filings under your name. There are property purchases. There may be money laundering exposure. Money laundering? Someone has been moving funds through accounts in your name. Whoever did this was not just stealing from you, they were using you as a shield. She set the papers down. If those loans default fully, you go to prison. Not them. You. I felt the room tilt for the second time that week. She leaned forward. But ma'am, if you're willing to fight, I can build the trail. The next 10 days were the longest of my life. The salon stayed half open. We took cash and Zelle only. I paid staff out of my personal savings, which were draining like a bathtub with the plug pulled. 2 of my biggest clients quietly canceled their standing appointments. Tasha fielded the panicked phone calls of suppliers who wanted to know if they should still deliver. Bianca's live stream had reached 200,000 views. The comments had become a sport. Strangers were stitching her video, adding their own commentary. Hashtags were being made, pride of a Buckhead sister. My face appeared in memes I had not posed for. Bianca posted a second video, sweeter this time. I forgive my sister. I just want her to come home and meet with the family elders. Dominic called twice, left voice notes. Sis, we should talk. There's been a misunderstanding. Let's sit down. Just family. My mother called once. Irene, the family is suggesting we should meet. End this thing. Come home this Saturday. The trap was tightening. I could feel the jaws. That Friday, while I was on the phone with my landlord about my rent, my doorbell rang. I opened the door. Dominic stood in the hallway, holding a thick brown folder, his face composed into the careful mask of a man bringing peace. Behind him stood Bianca. Sis, Dominic began the moment I opened the door, we have come to help. I did not move. Help with what? Bianca's eyes were already wet, practiced, theater-trained. Irene, we know about the bank, we know about the freeze. Mama told us. We came as soon as we heard. I let them in because I needed to see how far they would go. They sat on my white couch. Dominic opened the folder on the coffee table. Irene, he said gently, we know you're stressed. We know your business is in trouble. We want to help you protect everything you have built. He turned a sheet of paper toward me. A draft document. Power of attorney. It's just temporary, Bianca chimed in. While you're dealing with the bank, we will manage the salon, the accounts, the suppliers, so you can rest, so you can focus on clearing your name. I read the document slowly. It granted Dominic Boyd full management authority over my personal accounts, my business accounts, my property holdings, and my signature rights. For a minimum period of 12 months. A lawyer's letterhead at the top. A name I did not recognize. Lyndon Pierce-esque, Notary Public. This is generous, I said. Dominic beamed. Family must protect family. I forced a small, tired smile. Let me read it tonight. I'll sign tomorrow. His eyes shone with victory. The same shine I had seen 5 times before, every time a business I had funded was about to be lit on fire. The moment they walked out of my apartment, I locked the door, leaned against it, and exhaled the air I had been holding for an hour. Then I picked up the document and the lawyer's letterhead and photographed every page. Mrs. Wolfgang arrived 40 minutes later. She did not knock. She had texted me from the lobby. She entered the apartment without speaking. Gloves already on. She took the originals, bagged them, labeled them. Handwriting samples, she said softly. His signature, fresh. The notary's stamp, fresh. The lawyer's letterhead, fresh. She held the lawyer's letterhead up to the lamp. Her eyes narrowed. Lyndon Pierce, she read. She looked at me. Irene. This is the same lawyer who notarized your forged loan documents. The handwriting on the witnesses is the same as the witnesses on Boyd Logistics. I stared. He is in on it. He has been in on it from the beginning. She set the letterhead down. Your brother and sister did not work alone. They have a fixer. She gathered her bag. At the door, she turned back. Ma'am, you understand what they were going to do, yes? Once you sign that document, every asset you owned belonged to him for a year. Your salon, your apartment, your bank accounts. By the time you noticed, there would be nothing left to fight for. I had almost lost everything in a single signature. Mrs. Wolfgang worked through the weekend. By Monday morning, she had a map. Lyndon Pierce, she explained, was a struggling lawyer with a small practice in College Park. 3 years ago, he had been suspended by the state bar for falsifying documents in a real estate case. His suspension had been quietly lifted after a payment to his disciplinary committee, a payment that had come from an account belonging to Bright Edge Hair Distribution, the very company registered fraudulently in my name. Dominic had not just stolen my identity. He had used my stolen identity to bribe a corrupt lawyer, who then helped him steal more. The web grew wider. The 5 businesses my siblings had run, the food truck, the detail studio, the sneaker shop, the boutique, the delivery service, were not failed businesses at all. They were laundering operations. Each one had received my legitimate funding, then had its books cooked, then had additional money pushed through it from the shadow companies, then had been declared dead inside 7 months. The collapses were scheduled. The cash was clean. $475,000 had not been wasted. It had been the lubricant for a much larger machine. Every failure had been a planned demolition. When I read the final summary in Mrs. Wolfgang's office, I sat very still for a long time. "How much," I said quietly, "have they truly moved through me?" She looked at her notes. "Conservative estimate, ma'am. $2.4 million, over 26 months. On Wednesday, I drove to my mother's house in South Decatur. I had not been there in 2 months. The house had not changed. The same brown sofa, the same picture frame with all 6 of us, faded at the edges, the same scent of fried okra and pine sol. Mama opened the door. Her eyes were red. Her housecoat was loose. She looked like a woman who had been waiting for me to come and dreading it. I sat. She sat. We did not speak for a long time. "Mama," I said finally, "for 2 years now, Dominic and Bianca have been sending you money every month." She nodded slowly. "Yes, 2,000, sometimes 3. "Mama, that's almost $50,000. They said God had blessed them. They said it was their offering to me for raising them well." I took her hand. Hers was small in mine, trembling slightly. "Mama," I whispered, "that money was never theirs. They stole it from my businesses. They moved it through your account to clean it. Every transfer to you was a piece of that, evidence they were building, evidence that you were also part of it." She did not breathe. For a long moment, she did not breathe at all. Then her face crumpled like paper. She had spent 2 years thanking children who were using her as a shield. I did not show my mother the documents that day. I held her instead. I let her cry into my shoulder until her housecoat was soaked. I told her she was not in trouble. I told her Mrs. Wolfgang would clear her name through a quiet affidavit. I told her she had done nothing wrong. But something inside me hardened that afternoon. Something that had been soft my whole life. Dominic and Bianca had not just stolen from me. They had reached into my mother's hands and used those tired hands as a shovel. When I drove back to Buckhead that night, I made my decision. I called Mrs. Wolfgang. "How long until the financial crimes report is ready to file?" 10 days, maybe 12. "File it on day 12, I'll tell you when." "Why the delay?" I looked at the city lights blurring past my windshield because they're about to hand me the rope themselves. The next morning, I posted on my salon's Instagram. A bright, clean graphic, a celebration. Freestyling day at Irene House, 100 women, 100 free signature looks, open to the public. Bloggers welcome, press welcome. We rise by lifting others. 2 weeks away, within an hour. Bianca had reposted it to her stories with a smirking emoji. Caption: "Guilt looks pretty in 4K. She thought I was begging the public for forgiveness. She thought wrong. For 10 days I planned. Mrs. Wolfgang worked her side, I worked mine. I called every blogger and content creator in Atlanta who owed me a favor, and there were many. 9 years of doing celebrity hair builds a quiet network. I called 2 morning show producers at WSB and Fox 5. I called a fashion editor at the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. I called a popular podcaster who had been my Saturday client for 6 years. I told them all the same thing. Come to my free styling day. I am announcing something that will change my career. You will want the footage. They all said yes. On day 8, Mrs. Whitfield, my client of 9 years, the one who had dropped that comment on Bianca's live stream, walked into the salon for her standing appointment. She sat down in my chair. We made eye contact in the mirror. "Mrs. Whitfield," I said softly, "what did you mean by that comment, about the loan papers?" She let out a long breath. "Irene, my husband works at Atlantic Heritage. He saw your name on a default list 2 months ago and recognized it. He told me. I didn't know how to tell you. When I saw your sister's video, I could not hold it in any longer." I closed my eyes for a second. A stranger had tried to save me before my own family had finished sinking me. "Will you come to the freestyling day?" I asked. "With my husband," she said firmly. Dominic and Bianca watched me prepare from a distance. I knew they were watching because Amara told me. Every Sunday dinner at Mama's house, they grilled my mother for updates. Is Irene eating? Is she sleeping? Has she signed anything? Has she said anything? Mama, primed by me, played her role beautifully. Your sister is broken. She does not eat. She cries every night. She says she does not know what to do. By day 9, Bianca posted a story dripping with mockery. Some folks throw a party when they're drowning. Pity. By day 10, Dominic sent me a voice note. Soft, smooth. Sis, this freestyling day is a beautiful idea, but you should let family stand with you. Let me handle the press. Let Bianca handle the guests. You focus on the hair. I sent back one line. Come if you want. I'll be working. He took it as surrender. Amara called me the night before the event, voice shaking. Sis, they're coming. Both of them. With a blog crew. Dominic paid ATL Buzz Live $4,000 to film the whole thing. They're planning to confront you in front of everyone. They want to make you cry on camera. They want to break you in public. I poured myself a glass of water, sipped it slowly. Amara, I said, that's exactly what I need them to do. Freestyling day began at 10 a.m. The salon transformed. We had cleared the back wall, set up 2 extra stations, brought in fresh peonies, hung a banner that read, Irene House, 9 years of crowns. Music played softly, old Sade, some Solange, a little Seal. The air smelled like coconut oil and roses. 100 women had registered. 200 showed up. We took the first 100. The rest took photos at the door. By 11 a.m., there were 6 press cameras inside. By noon, 3 live streams. The fashion editor I had called sat in the corner sipping ginger tea, watching everything. I worked the first chair myself. A young woman named Janelle, single mother of 2. Nervous. I gave her a sculpted protective style I had been refining for 3 years. My signature. The crowd around us went quiet as I worked. When I was done, she looked in the mirror and burst into tears. The cameras caught it. At 12:42 p.m., the front doors banged open. Dominic strode in first, dressed in a white linen suit, 3 rings glinting on his fingers. Bianca came behind him in red, sunglasses pushed up, hair freshly laid by someone who was not me. Behind them, 4 men with cameras and a logo on their shirts. ATL Buzz Live. The salon went silent. My junior, Kenya, dropped a comb. Dominic spread his arms wide. Family has arrived. I did not stand. I was at my station finishing a young mother's edges with a fine brush. I tapped the brush twice on the side of my workstation. Then I set it down. Slowly. Hello, brother, I said. Sister. Bianca moved to the center of the floor like she was stepping onto a stage. She turned toward the ATL Buzz cameras. She raised her voice for the room. Atlanta, today we have come for healing. My sister Irene has spent 2 months running from her family, from her own blood. We have come to ask her, in front of all of you, in front of God, when will she stop punishing the people who raised her? A few phones lifted. Recording. Dominic stepped beside her. Irene, we are giving you a chance, today. Right now, apologize to your family, promise to do right, and we will forgive you. The camera swung to me. I stood up slowly, wiped my hands on a clean cloth, walked to the center of the floor, stopped 6 feet from Dominic. I looked at the ATL Buzz crew. Are you live? I asked. The lead presenter blinked. Yes, ma'am. Streaming on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Good. I turned to my brother. I picked up a brown folder from my station as I passed it. You wanted cameras, Dominic. I held the folder out. Open it, on camera. Dominic did not move. The folder hung between us. The room held its breath. The ATL Buzz cameras tightened in. Sis, he said with a small, careful laugh. What is this drama? Open it. Irene, open it. My voice did not rise. You came here to expose me, so expose me. Open the folder. Bianca's eyes flicked to him. For the first time that day, her expression cracked. Dominic's hand reached out, took the folder. He opened it slowly, performing confidence for the cameras. The first sheet was the forged loan document from Atlantic Heritage, with his signature on the guarantor line, with Bianca's signature on the witness line. His face did not move, but his jaw did. The second sheet was the Secretary of State filing for Bright Edge hair distribution. In my name, with my social security number, with a residential address that was his. The third was the audit trail of $475,000 flowing through 5 failed businesses, each one collapsing inside 7 months on schedule, then re-emerging in his and Bianca's personal accounts. The fourth was Lyndon Pierce's notary record. Every document he had ever stamped for Dominic, dated and listed. The fifth was the bank transfer records to my mother's account, $48,000, routed through Bianca. By the seventh sheet, Dominic's hand was shaking. The ATL Buzz lead presenter leaned forward slowly. "Sir," she asked quietly, "is that your signature?" Dominic looked up. His face had gone gray. "This is private business," he said. His voice cracked. "Turn off the cameras." "No," said the presenter calmly. Her own producer had stepped closer. The smell of a real story was in the air. Bianca jumped in, voice shrill. "These documents are fake. She made them up. She has lost her mind. Atlanta, you see what jealousy does? You see." I turned to her. "Bianca, the witness signature on page 1. Read it." Her eyes dropped. They climbed back up. She said nothing. "Read it on camera," I said softly. "If it's a forgery, prove it." She did not read it. I addressed the room. "My name is Irene Boyd. For the last 26 months, my older brother and older sister have run a forgery and fraud operation in my name. They opened 5 companies I never authorized. They took loans worth $1.4 million against my identity. They laundered $2.4 million through accounts attached to my name. They used my signatures, my social security number, my reputation. Every business I funded for them, 5 of them, every single one collapsing inside 7 months, was a piece of this machine. They came back to me each time with a new pitch and a new smile, and I kept paying because I thought they were my family." The salon was silent enough to hear the air conditioning hum. "And then," I added, "they tried to make me sign over everything I have left." Dominic's phone buzzed in his pocket. He looked down. His face went whiter. It buzzed again and again. Within 30 seconds, every phone in the room was vibrating. ATL Buzz Live had crossed 100,000 viewers. Atlanta was tuning in. The salon doors opened again. Mrs. Wolfgang walked in, calm and dressed in gray. Behind her came 2 FBI agents and an Atlanta police officer in uniform. The lead agent walked directly to Dominic and read him his rights. Bianca tried to run. The cameraman simply turned with her. Cuffs clicked twice in the parking lot. The federal trial took 14 months. Lyndon Pierce was disbarred and sentenced to 6 years. Bianca received 2 years probation, full restitution, and a federal asset seizure that took her car, her boutique inventory, and her Buckhead rental. Dominic got 8 years. I did not push for more. For my mother's sake, I helped negotiate a structured restitution plan. He'll return what he stole slowly for the rest of his working life. I have not visited him. Not yet. Mama and I are mending. She calls twice a week now. Amara runs my finance department. The salon doubled in size last year. A second branch opens in Charlotte next quarter. They said blood was thicker than water. They were right. Blood is thicker. That's exactly why it stains so deeply and takes so long to wash out. If this story struck something inside you, if you've ever walked away from people who wore your love like a uniform, or if you're still quietly rebuilding the parts of your life they tore apart, drop a comment below. Tell me what you would have done. Hit subscribe, leave a like, and stay close. The next story is coming.